Hey everyone, welcome to another week of counseling. I appreciate everybody for going ahead and watching last week's video. I know that there wasn't really an assignment piece of it, but that reflection activity is something I want you to hold on to because that's the kind of thing that's super important. You can use it over and over again in all kinds of transitions in your life, and it's just a really good thing to come back to. It kind of is a grounding exercise. If you have any questions about that or anything else, please let me know. This week we're going to talk about something that I know all of you have experienced in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of people talk about this as, something that arises a lot in middle school. But in my experience, this is something that exists in all areas of your life forever and ever and ever, and it's really unavoidable. So learning how to deal with it now is going to be really helpful for the rest of your life. What I'm talking about is conflict. So we know what conflict is, like we've experienced it before. We know what comes with conflict. We know how it makes us feel. But really, what does conflict mean? Conflict is to come into collision or disagreement, be contradictory, at variance, or in opposition, to clash. So I love thinking as conflict as just a clash. We've come together, there's a misalignment in the way we feel about something, the way we want something to go, and now we're at this impasse. What do we do? Conflict really is one of those things that our immediate reaction might be angry, but it can come because we're embarrassed, or we're afraid, or we're confused. It's a really important time to kind of evaluate what that anger is coming from. Whenever we're at that impasse, we're at the clash, there are a couple different ways that we can handle that situation. The three different types of conflict responses are aggressive, passive, and assertive. In an aggressive response to conflict, we're considering only our needs first, not prioritizing the needs of somebody else. And basically, this risks the relationship that you're having with the other person. So you respond, you're aggressive, you're like, me, it's only about what I want, not thinking about what the other person wants, and that can ultimately risk your relationship with them. Passive response to conflict is really unassertive. So you're withdrawn, you're unassertive, you're uncooperative, and basically what this does is it postpones conflict. So you're responding in the moment by being like, nope, not going to do this right now. But really, you're not getting the conflict resolved. You're just postponing it for later. An assertive response to conflict looks a lot like you are taking into account your needs, but also the needs of the other person. You are able to express your views, and you're also able to listen to what somebody else has to say. This is a really compromising situation, collaborative situation, something that can really resolve the conflict, make sure that you're getting past that clash that's just occurred. So when we get to the end of conflict, there's three different outcomes. Each type of response to conflict ends the scenario in a different way. So that way can either be lose-lose, so no one gets what they want. That's not a great resolution to conflict. The second scenario that can happen is win-lose. So somebody gets what they want, but the other person doesn't feel good about it. They've had to give up too much power, too much control. There's no compromise. It's just like, well, this is the way I want it, so doesn't matter what you think. And, ultimately, if you're on the winning side of that, it might feel good, but, if you're thinking about that relationship long term, that's not going to be helpful for that. And the third type is win-win, where everybody gets a little bit of something. It might not be all the way what you set out to get at the beginning, but it is something that you can move forward with. You've compromised in a way that makes everybody feel good about the situation, and ultimately that's what we're working towards. We want a win-win situation. A win-win situation looks a lot like this. Let's work through a hypothetical. Say that you and your friend have just had a disagreement, and now you are, you're not totally in the heat of the moment anymore. You're ready to move forward. You want to have a conversation. Here are some do's and don'ts for that. Mediation is the word that we like to use in my business. Do listen carefully. Make sure that you're hearing the person out. What they have to say is valid, and if you're really going to get to that compromising win-win situation, you have to know what they want in order for this to be over too. Do be fair. I think that makes sense. Do ask how each person feels. So give everybody a chance to express how they're feeling on this. Do let each one state what happened. So you are in your shoes and they are in theirs. You may have seen the situation one way and you were coming at it from a completely different angle than they were, and so it's important for you to understand what it is that they experienced. You might think that it happened to you at the same time, so of course your experiences are the same, but you don't know what they've been through before. You don't know maybe what they were triggered by. You don't know what they saw behind you that you didn't see. There's a lot of factors, and so it's important to let the other person's side of the story be heard. Do treat each person with respect. Do keep what you are told confidential. So sometimes in these situations, it ends up being that somebody's experienced something that you haven't. And so when you said something, it really triggered them or made them feel like there was a response that maybe you didn't mean it to be a certain way, but it took them to a place that they weren't comfortable with. And so if they end up sharing what they've experienced that triggered them in that situation, it's really important that you don't use that against them in the future. Do mediate in private. A lot of times people will use my office as a place where they can mediate their relationships with friends. So if there's something that's going on, they sit down. I'm involved as a person to kind of guide them through that process, but it's not necessarily a conversation that I am involved in. So of course, all of those things are the things that we want to do right. The things we don't want to do are things like taking sides, telling people what to do, or giving unsolicited advice. Don't ask who started it or try to find anyone to blame in this situation. Don't accuse somebody of something without knowing what happened. So don't say, "Why did you do that?" when you haven't even worked through the situation. So this is a lot what this conversation should look like. And I want you to keep this in mind if you ever go out to mediate a conversation between yourself and somebody else, or if you're involved in a conversation where, you become the person leading the mediation. Each person's going to summarize their part of the story. So they're going to say what they saw from their perspective. It's really important that in this time, you're only using I statements. We've talked about the importance of I statements before, not only being just from your perspective, not putting words in people's mouth, but also this is the exact time when you would use that as a way to process through what really happened. So this is a really great short script that I like to use whenever I'm in a mediation. This is the ultimate way to make an I statement. You say, "I feel," so you insert how you feel. I feel embarrassed when I feel sad, I feel angry. Put a feeling word. And let's remember, it's important when we're talking about feeling words that we don't say, "I feel like." That's not a feeling word, You say, "I feel like you did this thing," and that's like, I'm not talking about feelings anymore. I feel, and then insert an actual feeling word. So you first say, "I feel," and then you say when, because, and what I need is. So after everybody's had a chance to tell their side of the story, this is when you're going to ask follow-up questions. And it's really easy to talk over each other at this point, but make sure that somebody asks a question and then the response is given before the next question is asked, because then it's like, "Well, what about this and this and this and this?" And then it's like, I forgot some key details and now I'm overwhelmed and we're not really getting anywhere. So making sure that you're still taking a breath, taking time to get the responses that you're looking for, this is really important. Use active listening. So making sure that you're making eye contact, that you have a neutral face, that your tone of voice is, calm, collected, you're not yelling, you're not talking too fast, you're not mumbling, so that they can't understand what you're saying. These are all really important parts of listening. Remember, it's not just listening with our ears. We have to fully comprehend what's going on. And a lot of that looks like assessing body language or, making sure that you're in a space that you can hear somebody, like the cafeteria during lunchtime. Not a good place to mediate conflict because you have to be loud anyway just to hear over the noise, and that can get interpreted as yelling. So, don't put yourself in a situation, an environment, or a space where the conflict is not going to be able to be mediated. Like I said at the very beginning of this, conflict is something that comes up, and it's okay because it's going to happen. So if you can work through this process on your own, great, I love that. If you need help, come and see me. It doesn't have to be tattling, it doesn't have to be weird, like I said, I don't even have to really be involved in the conversation as anything more than just to remind you what these steps are. I can walk you through them, and we can go through them with each other, and we can make sure that we're all on the same page. We'll get all our do's done, we'll get our don'ts not done, and we'll move on. If you have any questions about this, about anything else, if you didn't see me yet for scheduling, please send me an email. I need to get with you. I only have a few people on my list. I hope you all have a really good week. I know it's 5 days. We will make it. I was talking to a friend of mine and we decided that it's a bonus day of school, buy 4, get 1 free. So love that. I'll see you guys soon.